In the building.
Mac drops, fired, middle of the field, caught Brian Thomas Jr. inside the 10, inside the 5, toward the goal line, touchdown! Mac Jones to Brian Thomas Jr. and the Jags have retaken the lead.
He's confident in what he's asked to do. He's confident in his role in the room. He's growing into just everything we've asked every single day.
We're preparing for what we saw with Ritter, the other night, which was a lot of gun run game and everything. And then if he doesn't go, then we better get ready for under center and play action and things like that. And so it's not two different offenses. It's just how the quarterback operates.
We know our situation. We got it. We understand that. But I think these next 3 weeks really can set us up for the future, for the offseason, for next year and how we can build and where we need to add pieces and all that kind of stuff. The development of our roster. Those are the type of players you want, right? You want those football players that love being here in this building.
Game day is underway. This is the Terminix Kickoff Show on 1010XL, presented by Clearwater Irrigation and Gatorade Fast Twitch. Here are your hosts, Hayes Carline and Tom McManus.
Oh, yeah, if you can't get fired up for this one, Tommy, you can't get fired up for NFL football. Merry Christmas to you and to everyone out there. Dylan, great to see you. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, sir. You as well.
Here we go.
Merry Christmas to you as well, Hayes.
Yes,
great to be here, man.
Yeah, it's great
to
be
be alive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
We've got a fun show coming up. Frank Frangi's going to join us just in a few minutes to get us kicked off, and then we'll also have Frank's interview with head coach Doug Pederson that he recorded Friday. Mia O'Brien will join us from Las Vegas. The Helmets and Heels crew has been out there for a few days, which has been really cool to follow on social media. So Mia O'Brien will join us to give us her thoughts around 12:40. And Mia had a chance to catch up with tight end Brenton Strange, so we'll play that for you towards the latter part of the show. So a lot to get to today, but Tommy, I've got a lot of questions for you. Okay. Obviously, your expertise is a former player for this organization. What do you think the challenge is today for the Jaguars? It's a pretty long trip.
Yep.
Going out to Vegas. It's a few days before Christmas, and obviously you're out of it. Now they are too, but what's the challenge that the Jaguars have today from an intangible standpoint?
Well, I think the challenge is just, look, they're going to come out fired up. We do. I mean, you're going to compete, right? The players are. They want to go out there. They want to compete. Depending how the first half goes, they may stay fired up. They may need a halftime break and then come back fired up. And then based on how the second two quarters go, then we'll know. You know what I mean? And for me, look, man, win, lose, just I don't know what to expect anymore. They drive me insane. It's not just the losing, it's how they lose. Just like last week, it seems like they've lost that way. Just missed assignments, blown coverages, bad penalties at the wrong time, probably 5, 6, 7 times this year. You know what I mean? So what do I want to see? I want to see some fight all the way through, and I want to see those mistakes not happen. Like, can we hold, like, can you just fix the mistakes? Because there's the same ones that it appears over and over again. So that's what I want to see.
What do you see as a former linebacker in the NFL? What do you see? Is it Ryan Nielsen's scheme? Is it not being communicated to the players? Anything you can put your finger on, particularly at that safety position?
Now, listen, I'm not inside, right? So I don't sit in Ryan's meetings. I don't listen to the press conferences for the most part. So just from my eyes and what I watch, I see guys that for whatever reason are doing the same things they've been doing all year long. Those safeties jumping the under route. And then there's a wide open guy deep, or a guy that's, not covered well enough and they need the help. And you're not there. That happened how many times this year? It happened last week as well. My linebackers not being able to count. You know what they're doing? I was saying on Friday on Jaguars Today, a lot of teams now they may be doing it across the league. All I know is that from when I watched the film the next day, they're going 4 strong on us, and it's screwing up the count.
What's that, 4 strong?
So typically you have 5 targets, right, based on your formation. You have 2 to the strength. You have your back. So you start from the back. He's number 3. Out is 2. Out is 1. Okay, you with me? Mm-hmm. The other side is 2. Then you go 2, 1. They're the weak side. Well, they're taking number 2 weak and bringing them to the strong side, and it's screwing up the count. because I've seen too many times Lloyd and Aluakin and some of the safeties, they're not on their guy. They're like, you have man. If you have man, you know who your man is. So cover him. There may be a rub coming. Well, isn't it about time you can see peripheral? Like, you've already seen the formation. Hey, you know what? Ding, ding, ding. There could be a rub. I got to be aware of that. But this is my guy. That play last week, which, again, it seemed to happen all year, Devontae Adams wide open on the sideline. It's Lloyd's guy, and he loses him. And there's no way he should lose him. But for whatever reason, he got confused. He turned and then went the other way. And I think he forgot they were in man and zone. I don't know. Now, I will say this in the player's defense, and I don't know if this is true, but I know Caldwell was doing this a little bit last year. If he would cut the field vertically in half, one side would be man, one side is zone. I don't totally understand that. Like, when do you drop them? When do you know? So I hope that they're not doing that to confuse our guys, because you do have to simplify it. But at the end of the day, you're losing count, and that means you don't really know what you're doing. And it's happened all year long. So how do you correct those things? Well, the coach has got to make sure the player does it, but can we get players that are mature enough to fix it? Because that's what it takes. You're a true pro. You make a mistake. Everyone makes a mistake. Hayes, we do too.
Sure.
But you're a professional. Do you fix it and have enough pride where you're like, that's never happening again? Gosh, what a dummy. Man, I look so dumb. How did I not know that was my guy? You're kicking yourself in the butt like I'm watching the film going, oh, man, you know what? I'm going to watch it again. I'm going to watch it when nobody's watching it. I'm going to watch it when my coach makes me watch it, and I'm going to go in a room and watch it by myself and make sure that doesn't happen. But I don't think we have that.
Yeah, it's a great point, and we'll continue. I wanted to get your thoughts on a lot of different issues with the Jaguars, but let's bring in the play-by-play voice of your Jacksonville Jaguars. Dylan, hit it.
Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line. Hello. We can wiggle it.
Good morning, Frank. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. Good morning to you and Tommy on this day in the desert out here on a kind of a beautiful time of year out here in Las Vegas, about 50 degrees, 55 degrees, not a cloud in the sky, and looking forward to another ball game.
Absolutely. Frank Frangie, always kind enough to join us on the Kickoff show. So, Frank, for you, let's start with kind of picking up where Tommy left off there. The defensive communication component, where do you think it's lacking? What are some things the Jaguars have to do today to slow down a Raiders offense that, other than Brock Bowers and maybe Jacoby Myers, doesn't seem to have a lot of weapons?
Well, the Raiders notwithstanding, I was listening, and Tom, I think you hit it right on the head. What's happened is they'll call a play, and on this play, if it's a cover 3, then you stay in your zone, okay? And last week, Antonio Johnson came out of his zone. That's why on that last play, why Devontae Adams was so wide open. It was a zone. Nobody leaves their zone, but he played it like it was a man. And he chased, I think, a tight end across the field, and then Devontae Adams was standing in the zone. And that's just one example. I'm not picking on Antonio, but it's one example to Tom's point. And, Tom, you were right about this. For whoever's fault that is, they can figure that out. But whether the players aren't remembering their responsibilities, or whether the coaches are giving them stuff that they're not capable of remembering and therefore have them in the wrong scheme, that'll all play out at the end of the season. But it has happened all year long. The safety play collapsed. The back end of the secondary has collapsed, whether a guy took too flat of an angle, whether a guy vacated his zone, where a guy playing man peeked into the backfield. Regardless of what it is, that has been the story of their defense. And it's one of the main reasons they're a 3-11 football team.
Frank, great to hear your voice. So Merry Christmas to you and your family, buddy. Hey, when you look at Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker collectively, and more towards Josh Hines-Allen, and I know stats don't tell the whole story, Frank, but has he underperformed, and collectively, have they underperformed this year, in your opinion?
And you have a better eye for this than I. You played the game. I think, in my opinion, Tommy, the tackles have been so bad. They have not. It's been miserable play. Devon Hamilton, God bless him, has tried, but he's never been the player he was just before his illness. Mason Smith and Tyler Lacey and Jeremiah Ledbetter and Otomewo and Jordan Jefferson, they tried all 6 guys. They've gotten no push. So in my opinion, when you get no push in the middle, you can chip and double, and I think there's a lot of attention paid to those guys. Josh has 7 sacks. Trayvon has 8.5 sacks. They haven't played great, but I think a big part of that. Last year, they had Roy Robertson Harris making a difference in the middle. They had a little bit of a difference in the middle. So I'm not defending him, Tom, for that purpose. He's not played great. He's not. But I can tell you, talking to Tony and Jeff, who I do the games with, who, like you, have a great eye for this and played it, they feel like it's an enormous challenge when there's no backups. Heck, Eric Armstead is the backup end, and he's not an end.
Don't even get me started on that, Frank.
Yeah. Well, no, but that's the guy. You know, Tommy. That's their end. And Miles Cole isn't very good yet, and he's another backup end, and they don't have other backup ends. So those guys have to play more reps. They're getting no help in the middle at all. There's no middle push, as you know. For edge guys to be a factor, there's got to be some push in the middle. You don't have to have Chris Jones or Jeffrey Simmons, but you have to have something. And I think they've struggled so much in the interior that it's been awfully easy to game plan against Trayvon and Josh, to chip them when you can. And you've watched it. There's always somebody helping on those guys. There's always somebody. So they've underperformed a little, but I think they haven't had a lot of help. I think that's my answer.
They get interior pressure when 91's on the inside. I know that, Frank.
Yeah, that's right.
They do.
He's just not there very. No,
I know.
He's just not there very often. That's
I know.
Exactly right. I agree with you.
And Frank, in terms of looking at the Raiders today, Aiden O'Connell, it appears will get the start for Vegas here. I guess he's been the best of the three. Minshew obviously started the year, then O'Connell came in, then he got hurt. Desmond Ritter's had to play a little bit. O'Connell's passer rating is 83.0, and he's the best of the three. He's 4 touchdowns, 3 picks this year, 63% completion percentage, and he's a total statue. He's one of the most immobile quarterbacks in the NFL. But he is a pretty smart player. What kind of challenge do you think O'Connell presents, if any, for the Jaguars today?
He's 0-4 as the starter, Hayes. I would be surprised if they get a whole lot going against it. Now, look, the Jaguars struggle defensively. Obviously, you got to cover Brock Bowers. He's a really good player. But there's not a lot else. Jacoby Myers actually is a better player than I thought he would be. He's actually having a nice year for him. But I would think this is a low-scoring game. I would be very surprised, at least in my mind, if the Raiders do much. They're 28th in the league in offense. The Jags are last in defense. So I don't see, I don't see a lot of offense here. And the Raiders haven't been bad defensively. They're 12th defensively. Now, part of that is because teams get way ahead of them and shut it down a little bit. But I don't think Aiden O'Connell's very good. I'd be surprised if he's much of a factor. He's been in and out of the lineup, to your point. He's finally healthy. He is going to play because Desmond Ritter's not very good. I actually probably think Minshew's the best of the 3 players, at least for here and now. But yeah, we'll see what happens with it. But they just don't have a lot of weapons. Hey, they don't have a lot of guys you know their names. They don't have a lot of guys. There's a reason they have a worse record. There's a reason they're a 2-12 football team. I'd be surprised if there's a lot of points in this game either way.
Yeah, they're terrible on third down. They're negative 19 in turnover ratio, but don't feel good, Jag fans, because we're at minus 13, and that's a tough one to win. Speaking of third down, Frank, our defense still around 45%. Our offense creeping up a little bit. Last 2 weeks or last 2 games, they've done pretty well on third down. Why do you think that is?
The key is the running game, Tommy. They've run the ball. They ran the ball well last week.
Yeah.
And when you run the ball, you've got 3rd and 1 and 3rd and 2. I think, and you know this, if you're better on 1st and 2nd down, particularly 1st down, then those 3rd downs are more manageable. I think early in the year, man, they were looking at 3rd and 8 and 3rd and 9 and 3rd and 11 all year long. You got to run the ball, and they've been a little more committed to it. The line's actually been pretty good the last 2 or 3 weeks. An offensive line, which wasn't great, they've been pretty good the last 2 or 3 weeks. So they've been able to run the ball a little bit, Tom, and I think that has made 3rd downs more manageable. I think that's the whole key. And I'll say this about Mac Jones: he's not a great guy at throwing the ball down the field yet. At least we haven't seen that. But managing short yardage situations, checking down to the right guy, might check down too early a few times, but he's pretty good at that. So yeah. They got to run the ball today. If they run the ball, Hayes, you've been saying it all week on our show, and Tom, we've talked about it. The Jags have the better team here. The Jags are better than the Raiders, and I know they only have one more win, but they're better than the Raiders. Run the ball here, stay out of 3rd and longs, and I think you'll see Tom Bill convert some of those 3rd downs.
Frank, let's talk about the offense and something positive. Brian Thomas Jr. has been sensational. Do you think that continues today? Do you think they really make an effort to get him involved early with those kind of screens that they did in last week's loss to the Jets early, just to get him the ball in his hands early and often?
I think absolutely. And I knew he'd be good, Hayes. Let me rephrase that. I hoped he'd be good. He's a first-round draft pick. Matt Moscone and some of our buddies at LSU said, listen, when he gets going, he's a real talent. I had no idea he was this good. That, there's a handful of wide receivers in the sport that can take over a game. Justin Jefferson can take over a game. Jamar Chase can take over a game. There's a handful of other guys. We saw Devontae Adams take over a game last week. Brian Thomas Jr. can take over a game. It's hard for a wide receiver to do it because the play doesn't ever start with the ball in his hands. But he's a guy that can do it. He's a really good player. Yeah, I think they involve him. What happened, I can tell you, ever since Christian Kirk went down, they have built a game plan around Brian Thomas Jr. What they haven't done a good enough job is making sure they go to him, even if it's not there. Don't come off him on your progression. Go to him no matter what. And when that wasn't happening enough, well, then they built into your point, Ace, they built in some of those wide receiver screens where there is no progression, where you just catch it and throw it out there to it. So I think you'll see more and more of that. I think you'll see the ball in Brian Thomas Jr.'s hands more and more. He's a really good player. In a season that has gone bad in so many ways, what a wonderful story he has been, and what a wonderful future he's got for the Jaguars. Man, it's fun watching number 7 play.
Yeah, really, no question about it. I really like Brenton Strange. I have since he's gotten here. I think with the opportunities he's shown that, man, you should get him involved into the passing game. He'll block for you. You've seen him line up at fullback, not afraid to lead up in the hole and lay that block, man. I really like the way Brenton Strange plays the game, Frank.
Yeah, he's been underutilized, hasn't he, Tom?
Yeah, totally.
If you go back and those self-scouts everybody does, if you do a season-long self-scout when this thing's over, 85 should have been more involved in the offense. I don't think there's any question. And I think in the future, he and Evan Ingram together is a pretty good pair now. They're a little bit – but you're right. Brenton Strange is a good player. They drafted him high for a reason. He's a physical guy. He's a great blocker. They all talk about that. Yep. And he's got very good hands. Tom, I'd like to see him down the field a few more times today.
Absolutely.
I'd like to run a few vertical routes. I mean, look, when they play 2 tight ends now, he's the move tight end because Luke Farrell plays on the line of scrimmage. So, yeah, I'd like to see him down the field a little bit more. But I agree with you. Brenton Strange is another bright spot. The one of all the bad that's happened, the one good is we now get to see the young players get a chance. We get to see more of Parker Washington and Brenton Strange and Tank Bigsby. And on the defensive side, you've seen Monteric Brown and Ventrell Miller. You're going to see Trey Prince today. Again, I'm reaching for a silver lining. There's not a lot of them,
right.
But I do think there's some good young players that'll be part of this team's future, and we're getting to see them play a bit, which is a good thing.
The thing with Brian Thomas Jr. that's so incredible to me is he has 8 receiving touchdowns. As a team, the Jaguars have 15.
Right.
He has more than half of their receiving touchdowns as a rookie, and no one else has more than 2.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's the leader on the team with 8, and no one else has more than 2. It's remarkable. And again, we are talking silver linings. Frank, what do you think could he have 150 yards and 2 touchdowns today? Does it set up well in terms of the Raiders and their scheme, in your opinion?
I think he can have a good game. He was 10 for 105 and a couple touchdowns last week. The challenge with him will be everybody else watches tape too, Hayes, and everyone knows there's not a lot of weapons over there right now. Christian Kirk's not here. Gabe Davis isn't here. Evan Ingram isn't here. There's a bunch of young players over there. So he's going to get a lot of attention. So to get to 150 yards is harder, but he had a lot of attention last week and got over 100 yards against the decent Jets defense. I would be surprised if he's not in that 80 to 100-yard range. I'd be surprised if there's not 11 or 12 targets. I'd be surprised if he doesn't have 7 or 8 catches minimum. I don't know that he can get to 150 yards, but, yeah, he's the game plan, man. The game plan is – I can tell you the game plan. I don't need to be in the meetings. The game plan is find a way to run the ball a little bit, run the ball so you've got play-action opportunities with Mac Jones, and throw the ball to number 7. To Tommy's point, and throw it a few times to number 85. I don't think it's a very sophisticated game plan this time, Hayes. Run the ball and get the ball to number 7. So I think you'll have a very good game. But remember, the Raiders know he pretty much has become the passing offense.
Yeah, without a doubt. What kind of game do you think we see, and who do you think wins?
I think the Jags will win the game. I think they have the better of the 2 teams. I think the Raiders, just being out here for a day now, they're a really struggling franchise. People here are excited about the hockey team. They're excited about Vegas because it's Vegas.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of head scratching. I think Antonio Pierce is on the hot seat. He's a really well-liked guy. There's some question whether or not he's the right guy. They got to find a quarterback. Obviously, Aiden O'Connell's not their quarterback of the future. So they're in one of those spots. We've been there before. And I know our record isn't much better now, but we're not in that spot. We know the quarterback. Some of the key pieces. they're one of those spots, Hayes, where they don't know the key pieces. You know, they're wandering, trying to do they have the right coach? Do they have the right GM? Do they got to find the right quarterback? Here's what they got, and it's an amazing city and a great stadium and great heritage. Other than that, there's not much else here, right? And so they've got to kind of figure that out. I think the Jags will win the game. I don't think there's a lot of points. I think the Jags win the game 24-14, that kind of game, 24-17.
Okay.
But I'd be surprised. I've rarely said that this year, but I'd be surprised if the Jags don't win this game. Maybe the first time I've said it that way. I'd be surprised if the Jags don't.
And it's a new stadium. Like, looking forward to your view from the booth, as we do every week when you tweet that out, and it'll be fun with seeing Allegiant for the first time. So thank you so much for joining us. We always appreciate it, and have a wonderful call. We'll be listening.
All right, Hayes and Tom, y'all have fun. Thank you.
Thanks, Frank.
All right, that's Frank Frangie, voice of the Jaguars. Certainly look forward to hearing him later with Tony Baselli and Jeff Loggeman, Bucky Brooks, and that'll be a fun game. Lots to that Frank discussed there.
Yeah.
We didn't get a chance to talk about Brian Thomas Jr. before Frank joined us, but from a defensive perspective, I mean, what kind of challenge does he present?
Oh, amazing challenge. One thing that's very impressive to me is he can run the route tree without breaking stride. I mean, that's a dangerous weapon right there. He's like the old Jimmy Smith. I mean, that you put fear in that cornerback's eyes. They know you could blow by him, and then you break it off without hesitation. Yeah, whether it's a quick slant, he can run the quick slant very well. He runs the deep out very well, the dig over the middle, the cross. I remember Press saying maybe he was just doing it as a smoke screen. Like, he's not an underneath cross. I'm like, what are you talking about? Just get him the ball and give him a chance to outrun his guy. Nobody can keep up with him on a crossing route. So for me, it's like, wow, this kid's a full wide receiver. He's not just a deep threat. You know, we've seen that before in the NFL where, okay, he can go deep. Great, but what else can he do? And he's not afraid to go over the middle. He's got great hands. I love him. He's fantastic. That was a great pick, and the way that Trent worked that out was pretty good trickery to get him.
Absolutely. Got a couple additional picks. Yeah, that 19-yard touchdown that Brian had against the Jets, I mean, he just left the guy at the line. I mean, just a shake and bake and, touchdown.
He is, I don't even know what his 40 is, but on the field, it's got to be, it looks like a 4.1.
I was going to say.
It's like nobody can catch him at all.
What would you guess? 4.37?
Somewhere 4.3. I mean, come on. He is absolutely a rocket ship. You know, and back to Brenton Strange, this is what bothers me. Okay, so did we need, and I love Evan Ingram. We all do.
Sure, yeah.
But did we need Evan Ingram to go down to give the kid more than one catch a game?
Right.
And he would have catches of like 21 yards.
Yeah.
Like maybe, breaking a tackle or doing something great. And you never would go back to him. It doesn't that like blow your mind? Like,
there's a lot that does with this organization. But that's certainly on the list.
Yeah. Seems like common sense. Like, okay, let's go again.
Well, and it's not like he was a 6th-round pick.
No,
I mean, obviously you selected him in the 2nd round thinking this is a future star.
Right.
I mean, at that position, that is not a premium position. So if you're going to invest a 2nd-round pick at the tight end spot, I mean, you've got to be thinking, I mean, this guy is a diamond.
I think he's got potential to be a star.
Yeah, I do
just too. A really, really good, maybe even great tight end.
Yeah, and seems to be wired really well. And it probably will help him as he matures that he got to work, with Evan for his first couple years in the league. But yeah, absolutely. There's room in an offense for 2 tight ends to have success.
I knew I liked him when he threw Calais Campbell out of the club. You remember that? Calais didn't like that at all, but he wasn't afraid to do that. He tossed him. That was great.
Absolutely, it was. That was great stuff. Well, we are off and rolling. When we come back, we're going to hear Frank Frangie again. He interviews head coach Doug Pederson every Friday. We always enjoy that. So we'll get Doug's insights on the other side. You're listening to the Terminix Kickoff Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Take Jacksonville with you.
There's no place like home.
Listen to 1010XL away from home.
Oh, but anyway, Toto, we're home. Home.
Download the 1010XL and XL 92.5 FM apps for free on Apple and Android devices. Bull riding.
The perfect fusion of strength, skill, and pure willpower. Professional bull riders aren't just athletes. They're daredevils with cowboy souls. Come experience the true modern West, where 8 seconds of glory will create a lifetime of memories. It's the Michelob Ultra PBR Jacksonville at ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena, February 22nd and 23rd. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com and PBR.com. Hold on tight. The ride of your life is about to begin.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey. Here in North Florida, you know that when temperatures go up and your AC goes out, you need help now. Like right now. Like lickety-split. So why not call Lickety Split and get same-day emergency service for your AC? Now, I bet you've seen their trucks all over town because they've got dozens of certified technicians ready to repair not only your AC, but your home's plumbing and electrical too. So when you want it done right and you need it done right now, call Lickety Split AC Plumbing and Electric.
3D Digital has you covered for any of your business's digital marketing needs. From producing award-winning videos to getting those digital ads to follow your customers around the internet, our team has your back. Visit 3ddigital.com or give us a call at 904-712-4004 to schedule a free consultation today. 904-712-4004.
I'm Clayton Bromberg, the president of Underwoods. If you're looking for jewelry this holiday season, we have what you want at Underwoods, and we carry the hottest and best names you'll find anywhere in North Florida. The biggest name in designer jewelry is David Yurman, and his looks are more popular today than they were years ago when Underwoods introduced this designer to Jacksonville. And we carry David Yurman not just in ladies' jewelry, but also in timepieces and his extensive collection of men's jewelry. If it's a watch you're looking for, we carry Rolex and other watches considered to be the best in their price points. We also carry extensive collections of the jewelry we import directly from Italy and Spain that are always popular for their quality, style, and value. So if you want the hottest and most popular jewelry and want to be waited on by the most professional jewelry staff in the business, stop by Underwoods.
Underwoods, where customers are served with quality and respect. In San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra. Underwood Jewelers.
Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialist congratulating our Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Casey Stahl, senior basketball player at Sandalwood High. Casey has received the Presidential Volunteer Gold Service Award from President Biden and is a member of the National Honor Society.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting!
Cannonball!
Honey, someone's in our pool.
Oh, refreshing.
John, what are you doing?
Oh, hey, Dave. Seeing as how me and the guys at Clearwater Irrigation reinstalled your sprinklers after the pool contractor ripped it out, I thought you wouldn't mind if I took a quick dip.
But in a Jaguar print Speedo?
Yeah, Dave. My bad.
Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage, too.
It's a force that can't be contained, propelled by purpose, pride, and the power to protect.
When winning isn't just the mission, it's your passion. You pursue it.
You make power plays.
Aim for fences and go for end zones.
You believe that your moment is now. At Farrah & Farrah, we deliver game day energy 24/7.
If you've been injured, put our force to work for you. Jacksonville.
Hey, Jacksonville Koozies, it's me, Soccer Sam, for Salvatore's Pizza. Rochester, New York's favorite pizza is now open in Jacksonville, Florida, Tapestry Park at the Loft Hotel Plaza. Daily $10 deals, dine in with beer and wine, and delivery at salvatores.com. The famous Formoso family brings Salvatore's Pizza, Rochester's favorite pizza, including our 32-piece sheet pizza for your next event. Go with me, baby. Salvatores.com.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. starting your game day.
The Terminix Kickoff Show.
Presented by Clearwater Irrigation and Gatorade Fast Twitch on 1010XL.
All right, welcome back. We've got Tommy McManus. We've got Dylan Denmark. I am Hayes Carline. Get you ready for Jaguars at Raiders. Doug Pederson met with Frank Frangie on Friday, as he does every week on Coach Speaks. We always enjoy that. So here is that interview, Frank Frangie with the head coach, Doug Pederson, from Friday.
The Coach Speaks. Jaguars coach Doug Pederson joins Frank Frangie right now. Presented by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
All right, it is time now to talk Jaguars football. Doug Pederson, the coach, joined us as always on Friday. Doug, Merry Christmas, man. How are you?
Hey, Merry Christmas, Frank. I'm doing great. How about you?
I am doing great, and I'm looking forward to this trip. We head to the West tomorrow, obviously, for a Sunday game against the Raiders. A lot of things to get to. I ask you about this every week, but I'm gonna start again with it because it's all the buzz. I thought Brian Thomas would be good. Okay, I thought he'd be good. I watched a lot of college football, do a lot of college. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea this good. Honest to God, I had no idea this good. When you draft a guy, obviously you have high expectations. Did you think he'd be this good, Doug? This good?
I would love to have a crystal ball and say yes.
Yeah.
Especially for a young player, a rookie player. I mean, look, we drafted him because there's always the potential, right? There's a potential of being a great player, being really good early, but sometimes you just don't know, right? And until you get him on the field and you start playing these games, and I'll tell you what, he has been everything that we thought he was, what we hoped for. Going to be a really good. Is a great receiver in this league, and is going to be. I think he's going to be an elite receiver. In the NFL for a long time.
Yeah, boy, he really, and I agree on all counts, man. It's going to be fun to watch him. Other young guys are playing. Brenton Strange certainly played well last week, didn't he? 11 catches, and he's getting his young guys get an opportunity when veteran guys are down. Obviously,
that's right.
But he played
right.
He's playing well, isn't he?
He is. He's doing extremely well. He's playing good along the line of scrimmage in the run game. And he's better in the pass game than I think most people give him credit for. He's a really good route runner. He's got strong hands. He's great with the ball in his hands, and just a really good young tight end. His only issue is he's in the shadow of Evan Ingram, right? And now he's out from under that, and he put together a great performance last week, and really excited about his future, obviously here in Jacksonville.
Doug, what kind of the energy you see in the locker room when new young guys get to play? Because look, they're all professionals, but the backups know they're backups until they're not. Monteric Brown's playing some. I know you want Trey Prince to play some this week. We just talked about obviously Parker and Brenton. Is there a different kind of energy when these young guys are kind of getting to go do it now?
You know what? There is. I think there's an excitement. There's an enthusiasm. That number one that they bring, and also the young youth sort of movement within your roster, and that's something that's exciting, I think, for the team. It sort of energizes the team a little bit when the young players play well. And look, I mean, I think the league is obviously getting younger, and guys are having to play sooner and play more as rookies, and I'm just excited about our young players and the development and the growth that and the potential that they have.
Doug, how did Mac play? He looked like he was, I don't know if authoritative is the word or in a rhythm, but he looked comfortable from the outset last week, I thought.
He threw the ball with assertiveness. He made good decisions, quick decisions. Ball was out of his hand. And that was really good to see by Mac. And I think that's just a product of him understanding the offense a little bit better, getting more comfortable under center, just again, when we put these game plans together, he has a lot of say. He has a lot of input, and just like Trevor does. And we want to make sure that the quarterback, whoever it is, feels really comfortable, when they head into the game, so that there's no doubt in their mind.
You made a comment, and I thought it was a cool comment about young guys have to play. We just talked about Trey Prince and Monteric playing. Antonio Johnson's had a bust here or there, but I think you want to keep. You said he needs to keep playing. There's something there with him, and part of it is defensive guy or young guys playing through the mistakes, right? Isn't that kind of part of the deal here?
And that's part of the I think part of the maturation and the growing up in this league is we understand that we want our young players to play, but we also know that there's going to be a mistake or two made, and we have to do as coaches our part to try to minimize the mistakes. We got to get the player to understand exactly what we ask them to do, and then the player just has to go play. I don't want to bog his mind down and the next thing you know he's handcuffed because he's thinking about too many things. I just want these young players to go out, play free, play loose, but at the same time, the onus is on them to play good and play good football.
Final thing, what do you see when you watch the Raiders on tape? It's been a tough year for Antonio Pierce. He's had a bunch of quarterbacks. Minshew's out. He's played the other two. What do you see when you look at the Raiders?
On defense, I see an aggressive style of defense. This is a pressure defense. They're going to mix personnel. They're going to mix fronts. They're going to mix coverage. It's a product of Antonio Pierce. These guys play hard. They play fast, and it's a physical group. And then on offense, I think Aiden O'Connell should play this week. He's somebody that has improved all season. Jacoby Myers is a top receiver. Obviously, Brock Bowers is going to be a heck of a tight end in this league. Already is. So it's a dangerous football team from the standpoint of they play with a lot of energy and they play with a lot of excitement and they play with the personality of their head coach, and that's a credit to Coach Pierce for what he's done. And they got a couple good returners, Abdullah, Dylan Lobby. I mean, these guys are dynamic returners. So this is a good football team. They're probably much like us, just not creating or getting the takeaways and maybe turning the ball over a little bit too much, making those mental mistakes. But it's a good young football team that a couple pieces away from being a really, really good football team.
Yeah, and it's going to be a lot of fun on Sunday afternoon. Jags and Raiders on the road in Vegas coming up on Sunday afternoon. Doug Pederson, the coach, checking in. Doug, we appreciate it, man. I'll see you on the plane tomorrow. Thanks, buddy.
Okay, Frank. Thank you so much. We'll see you then.
All right. Appreciate Doug Pederson and Frank Frangie. That was, again, Friday. One thing really interesting there, Tom. Doug is now open to playing some younger guys. Almost, he doesn't want to say it at the sake of winning in the present, but you can tell like he is ready to see some guys. And with the NFL and the rosters being as small as they are, like you can't do that at every position. But Trey Prince at corner is somebody that he has publicly said this week he wants to see. What has been your early evaluation of Trey Prince from training camp and the limited reps that he's gotten, in your opinion?
He can cover. Yeah. I mean, he's good. He's good at press, at man. He seems to be pretty sticky in coverage, at least on a limited basis that we've seen. I like him a lot. I wish we'd seen him earlier, to be honest with you. I'd like to have seen Mason Smith a lot more. I'd like to see Jordan Jefferson. Do we not know what Jordan Jefferson has? And why isn't he out there? Maybe he will be this week or today. There are a lot of guys I'd like to see. He's one of them. Prince, I think, he's got a lot of talent. I think he's really fluid in his movements. It doesn't look like he looks effortless. He doesn't run as fast as Brian Thomas Jr., but he's smooth like that in his change of direction and getting a quick start. So I think he could be a real fun guy to watch. But look, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who your coverage is if you don't affect the QB. They've got to affect the QB today. 47 sacks the Raiders O-line have given up. Overall, total for this year. By the way, ours is at 27. Got to give them some credit, man. Yeah. Week after week, I see these O-lines, and I do these stats. That's one of the stats. And they're in the 40s. They're in the 40s, and our guys are still in the 20s. So, got to give them a little credit there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. The Jaguars are 6th in the NFL in sack percentage offensively. So, I mean, they're doing very well.
Keeping a guy clean.
I haven't talked to you since they did the extension for Walker Little. How do you think he's playing at left tackle, and did you like that move?
I don't know if I like the move, but I don't know. I think that was more of the GM saying, hey, I drafted him the second round. You wanted us to develop guys, and here we are extending him. And You look at someone who's the other left tackle just got to deal way more money.
Garrett Bowles, yeah.
Well, Bowles,
Who's
sorry.
been-
I mean, a lot more
In
money. So it
Denver,
just shows you where that's at.
Sure.
But good for Walker. I'll always be for the player making the money because, that's a good thing. He was okay. I think overall he's been okay. He's been pretty decent. I think last week he had a few pressures where, I think the guy's tremendously athletic. I think where he struggles is when they do that inside power move on his inside shoulder. And in his defense, it's probably one of the harder things to defend, especially when you're trying to get back so they can't get around you on the outside, and then they stuff that foot in the ground, and inside they come, and you're kind of up too high. You're not balanced. So I think that's where one of his weaknesses is overall. But he's been okay. Look, I still think he's upgradable. I want a stud left tackle. I don't think he's a stud left tackle. I think he's a serviceable left tackle. But again, the stats show overall the O-line's been really good or pretty good this year. So, it's been good enough.
How would you like to see them handle the backs today? Tank Bigsby has had a good second year. Travis Etienne's been a disappointment, but they're both healthy, which has been sort of a rarity this year. What's your expectation, and what would you like to see out of how they handle the ground game?
Well, one thing, Tank, hold on to the ball, but you fumbled it last week. I don't know how many people reminded you of that, but I hope they did because that's been a thing of yours. Now, granted, you've held on to the ball great this year. You've been a good running back. There's no doubt about it. I want to see Tank first and then Travis second. But I think Travis can be very effective as a second, Hayes, and I think it showed last week. He ripped off some nice runs, and I don't think they were ready for that kind of change of direction, that kind of change of speed. This is what I don't get. You have Travis Etienne, who's very good with catching the football. He can run routes, and he can do more than just being a check down. Why don't you use him like McCaffrey? Why don't you put him in the slot and see if he can run a little bit of the route tree? He can run the seam down the middle. He can run an option in or out. He can run the stick, whatever. You know what I mean? Give him a chance in that passing game, and I think he could be a great change of pace and a third down back.
And it doesn't seem like they use the screen game much, which to me is surprising because you've got that more of a finesse offensive line, more of a athletic offensive line. But and correct me if I'm wrong, but from watching the other teams around the league, it seems like the Jaguars are reluctant to use the screen game as much as some other teams.
The long screen where it takes time to set up, yeah, I agree. But they've been doing the quick screens, and maybe they try that with Travis. I mean, you want him in open space. That's where he's most dangerous. Get that guy the ball in open space. So, I don't – disappointing year maybe to a certain degree, but – I think overall, when he comes off that bench, I think he can be pretty dangerous. And I really do like Tank. Tank sees the field very well. He's a powerful runner. He's quick. He can take it to the house, as we've seen. So can Travis. But he's got to hold on to that football. And when you drop the ball, immediately the coach is like, ugh. Like, come on, man. You got to hold on to that football.
Yeah, without a doubt. Great points. All right, when we come back, we are going to get it to the Farah and Farah injury report. Tom and I will also break down some of the key matchups. We're going to talk about Brock Bowers. What did the Jaguars have to do to limit the talented rookie tight end in Las Vegas? You were listening to the Terminix Kickoff Show on 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
More videos, more podcasts, more Jaguars, preps, and college football. More of everything you love about Jacksonville sports at 1010XL.com.
Want to be up close and personal with the Jaguars as they take the field? Here's your chance to be in the shadows, outside the Jaguars locker room, now called The Vault. Enter today at everbank.com/shadows. One winner and a guest for every home game at Everbank Stadium. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry periods for the Shadow Sweepstakes promotion from 8/19/24 to 12/15/24. For official rules and complete details, visit everbank.com/shadows. Sponsored administrator, Everbank N.A. member FDIC.
When mice and rats show up in your space, they can be a real pain. You need them out fast before they have time to multiply. Terminix knows how to shut down rodents, and they'll keep them from coming back to wreak more havoc. When rodents show up, so do we. Don't live with a rodent problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com. TERMINIX.com.
Hey, John, are you a small business owner looking to make the most of your investments?
Absolutely. And now is the time to take advantage of some incredible tax deductions.
You can qualify for a 2024 tax deduction for up to 60% of the purchase price of a brand new Cadillac.
Think Escalade, Lyric, Optic XT5, and XT6.
We have over 100 in stock at Rainy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville. It's the perfect time to upgrade your business fleet.
This is not tax advice. Consult with your tax advisor for further details and to determine eligibility, plus tax tag title $8.99 admin fee and resist all and approved credit.
City AC, heating that rules. Is your AC ready for the holidays? Bold City Heating and Air ensures your AC stays in tip-top shape. We know that a clean AC is a healthy AC. Upgrade yours for just $96 a month and enjoy free duct cleanings with your new system. Plus, ask about our 0% financing options. Bold City AC, we got the crew. Bold City AC. Visit boldcityac.com.
This is the flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM and FM. Jacksonville Beach. 1010XL. Home sweet home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. You've heard fish stories, and Captain Kevin has a million of them.
We love to tell stories, hear your stories.
On the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show.
Big fish.
Brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Thursday nights at 6.
On 1010XL AM.
If you're looking for custom metalwork, look no further than Superior Fence and Rail. Whether it's custom railing, shade structures, or custom entry gates, their expert team controls the turnkey process. From CAD design and raw metal to powder-coated finish and expert installation. When you choose Superior Fence and Rail for your custom metal project, you get a project that's, well, superior. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail today.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. Dandy subs and sandwiches. Look, we always want you to think about those great options as you're driving around Duval. But the beauty is, even as I'm dropping pounds, Dandy's got great options for me as well. Told you all about their protein packs, delicious salads that they have out there. They have fruit cups for on the go. You know what they have. Veggie snack trays. You can grab those on the go as well. Perfect, healthy snack. Dandy is the name to know when you're on the go. So stop into a Gate store anywhere around Duval and make yours a dandy, and do it today.
It's the end of the year sale with Universal Roof and Contracting. Get 15% off all roof repairs and replacements, plus a $250 gift card for holiday shopping. With financing options as low as $150 a month, protecting your home's never been easier. Schedule your free roof inspection today. Call 855-ROOF-HELP, and this offer expires December 31st. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com.
Everything about the game has changed, except for the most important thing. What you have inside. It is what drives the game. It refuses to be ignored. It sweats everything, turns an athlete into a legend. Gatorade, is it in you?
From Gatorade Zero to Gatorade Endurance Formula and Gator Light, there's something for every athlete. Find it at your local Winn-Dixie. It's a win-win. Gatorade, official partner of the NFL.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now let's go behind enemy lines. Behind enemy lines. Brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors on 1010XL.
All right, welcome back to the Terminix Kickoff Show. We are pleased to be joined with Mia O'Brien, Helmets and Heels, and does an outstanding job. Can't wait to see all of her content from today, and it's been so much fun, Mia, all the cool stuff you guys have been doing out in Las Vegas. Give us sort of an overview of how the last few days have gone for you and Lauren and Taylor out there in Vegas.
Yeah, good morning, Hayes. Good morning, Tommy Mac.
Morning.
Good morning, Pockets. It's been a tremendous few days of both work and also a little bit of downtime as well. I've never had a road trip quite like this in my, 6+ years in the Jacksonville market and 10+ years in the industry. So it's been a good time. We got here late Thursday night at Circa Casino and Resort. Can't thank Aaron, Derek, the owner, and everybody for hosting us enough. It's been first-class service across the board. Woke up early. Well, early, I guess, by my standards, I suppose. We had to do the show at 9 p.m. Pacific time. Of course, we come at you guys noon to 2 Eastern, Monday to Friday. And so a 9 Pacific start time on Friday morning. Able to explore Fremont Street, the area around Circa, which is in the historic downtown. If you're familiar with the Golden Nugget, we are right next door to there. I am actually overlooking right now Stadium Swim from my hotel room, which if you haven't seen that or heard of that, Google it in the words of Kurt Signetti, because it's one of the most incredible venues I've ever been to, and that is where we were broadcasting live from. I currently am looking at a giant television screen that not only has betting lines, but I believe it has about 6 different broadcasts going on right now. And so an absolutely incredible place to do the show Friday. Got to walk around Fremont Street a little bit during the day, enjoy Stadium Swim. Then we had our Huddle Up with the Heels party. Shout out to everybody who came by there. People who have come here from all over the country, all over the world to support the Jaguars today. Shout out to my friends from Montana that we met, the Teal Hair Brigade. Those guys were awesome. And so I know the folks at Circa greatly appreciated everybody who made their way here to Circa for the Huddle Up with the Heels party at the Overhang Bar. Got to enjoy yesterday, including checking out the Golden Knights game, and it lived up to the hype, boys. It is definitely more than just a hockey game. It is the full Vegas show experience.
Mia, great to have you on and great to hear your voice, and I'm glad you guys are having a great time. But what people want to know, are the Heels in the black or are they in the red collectively when we're talking about it at the gambling tables? How'd you guys do over the weekend?
I can't speak for everyone else in our traveling party. We do have a good contingent of our sales staff here on site, some of our production staff as well, and they've been a little more active on the tables, I think, than Lauren Taylor and I, but I won't speak for those two. I have been probably the most active at the Sportsbook Casino, although I can't gamble on the NBA Summer League, which is my bread and butter when it comes to sports gambling, and so therefore I'm hovering, Tommy. How does that sound? I'm hovering. I've been disappointed, quite frankly, on the college basketball side. I have not, outside of UNC plus 1.5, I have not actually hit with any of my college basketball bets, which as an AP voter and as someone who does a women's basketball podcast, I'm disappointed in myself, but hey, there's always today.
Absolutely. Mia, let's what's your overview thoughts of going into this game? What do you think the biggest challenge is here for the Jaguars? And what kind of energy level are you expecting the Jaguars to have? Because there's a lot of possibilities for distraction here and maybe not bringing the A game.
Yeah, I've found the betting line, speaking of Hayes, fascinating throughout the week. This has basically shifted back and forth, the spread has, to where it's essentially a pick-em between two teams that are vying for a top 3, top 5 draft pick come April. And so I don't think you see that every day. I think a lot of that speaks to perhaps the bettors out here in the desert having concerns about the Jaguars with a 4.5-hour flight or whatever it ends up being for them, that direct flight that they took yesterday afternoon. A young team after a disappointing loss a week ago to the New York Jets, how they will respond. Will they pack it in? Will they finally give up on Doug Pederson? I think there's a lot of outside factors. I got the sense being in the locker room this week, it's more of the same. This group they're not pointing fingers at each other. I think that there is a recognition, certainly, and a realize that they understand the reality of the situation. But I don't think this is a matter of, hey, we're already looking to Cabo. Hey, we're looking to come back here to Vegas in a few weeks and enjoy an off-season vacation. And I think that that's encouraging because we do forget, Hayes, just how young this roster is, and that every single opportunity to go out there and play an NFL game is an opportunity for them to get better as a collective.
Yeah, and for a lot of them, Mia, they may not be here next year, or be even playing in the National Football League. I mean, it's a big 3 weeks for a lot of guys on the team, fighting for their football lives. I will say this. I echo, they haven't quit on Doug. I mean, they are on themselves or on the team. They've been coming out fired up, and, of course, the mistakes continue to happen, but I can't say the energy hasn't been really high because it has. I would expect it today, at least starting off. I mean, it's still, look, you're still playing in the NFL. It's still a game. Now, granted, the NFL might want to flex this one out of there, for the entire day. I don't know, put them on a Tuesday, early morning or something. But they're still going to come out fired up and ready to play, I think.
Yeah, they definitely wanted to flex it to Tuesday, Tommy, because then they would quite literally have a game a day for a 6-7 day stretch or something like that. That's the one day we don't have of NFL football. No, I agree with you. I don't think this group has given up on Doug, but again, I've gotten the sense more and more over the last 2 weeks, and I think that speaks to the character of the players that have been brought in over the last however many years. These are not guys that are going to bash their coach or bash each other to the media. That's not in their DNA individually, which I think is incredibly encouraging for those who will be back next year, that you do have, high character guys. But I have gotten the sense more and more that they understand where this thing is headed. And I think that that's a positive as well, that they understand it. They know, I think many of them recognize, hey, this is where we're falling short. This is where we need to take the next step. And ultimately, that's obviously above so many of our pay grades. It ultimately resides in the power of the owner, Shad Khan. But I think it's a good group, and so that's where I don't want to completely dismiss, like, yeah, this thing's got to be reset. They got to bring in a whole new roster next year. There are not only pieces on the field, but leaders off the field that I think will be here next year. And so that's why I don't expect the Jaguars the next 3 weeks to be thinking about Cabo or Cancun all that much. I do want to shout out, too, we've definitely seen way more Jaguar fans here on the Strip in downtown Las Vegas than I anticipated seeing. So I'm really curious to get to Allegiant Stadium today and see what the vibe is in terms of the fan bases.
Yeah, that'll be outstanding. Yeah. Do you think the Raiders will be able to cover Brian Thomas Jr. today?
I do not. Hey, Star Lion. It's a bigger question of will Mac Jones be able to get the football to Brian Thomas Jr. I apologize to the hockey fans out there, of which I know there are many in the Duval area. You should know that I did have my Iceman knitted cap on. Shout out to owner Steve Griffin of 1010 for making sure I had my full knitted cap outfit for a hockey game. But I don't know the names of the players, but there were a couple of lead passes. I think that's the right term on the ice last night, boys. And Kevin and I looked at each other and we said, yes, that could be Mac Jones throwing to Brian Thomas Jr., beating his defender in coverage one-on-one. But then, unfortunately, the pass was a little bit too far ahead of him. And in the case of last night's hockey game, it went safely into the arms of the goaltender. No goaltender in football, of course. So it'll just land harmlessly in the end zone. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see that play out a couple of times today. But I do like the matchup for Brian Thomas Jr. And we did this exercise on Helmets and Heels on Friday, boys. Like, go up and down this Raiders roster. No Max Crosby. He's done for the season. Yep. Christian Wilkins, done for the season. The expectation is that Aiden O'Connell could potentially go today. And if he is one of your top 5, top 6 marquee names on this roster, not named Brock Bowers, I think that speaks to where this roster is. And I think that should encourage Jaguar fans, regardless of who is making the decisions, what happens next year. You have, once again, that base of a roster that there are other teams in the National Football League that do not have.
Yeah, no question about it, especially on their offensive line. They've been pretty bad up front for the Raiders. Look, Josh Hines-Allen should have a field day today, I would think. Same with Trayvon Walker, that defensive front. But will they is the question, Mia. Will they be able to take advantage of that and make whoever the quarterback is, make them very uncomfortable in the backfield?
Yeah, it's going to be curious because I would assume, and at least from hearing from Ryan Nielsen during the week, they are preparing for both Aiden O'Connell and Desmond Ridder. I liked Alex Blaze as a day 3 prospect, the tackle for the Raiders coming out of Maryland. I think he's outperformed expectations. Certainly Jackson Powers Johnson was the apple of so many in Jacksonville High. I've certainly enjoyed going back to the old takes exposed on that front. Not that he hasn't been a good player. I know there's some of you out there rolling your eyes.
Guard, isn't he?
What's that? No, he's a center. No. Previously with Oregon. And I know there's those of you driving around right now, oh, there she goes. She just wants to hate on JPJ. I'm not hating on JPJ. I just think he's a good rookie center. And so you are starting 2 rookies along that offensive line. And that, I think, speaks to an opportunity for Trayvon and Josh Hines-Allen. I think more than that, Tommy, I think because there are questionable links in this offensive line, that's where, we've been clamoring for it for 14, 15 weeks now. I would love to see Ryan Nielsen opt to line one of those 2 players up inside. Try to find that mismatch along that offensive line and exploit it with your 2 marquee pass rushers.
Mia, you had a chance to catch up with Brenton Strange in the locker room this week. We're certainly looking forward to hearing that interview in our next segment. But what are your expectations for Brenton Strange, and what's your evaluation of his progress so far as a Jaguar?
Yeah, I think undoubtedly, Hayes, he should have maybe not double digits in terms of receptions today, but it should be approaching that mark. I do not want, much like the run game, I do not want the player to forget that Brenton Strange is on the football field. We cannot have another 9-snap outing from a player who not only has shown flashes, but when he is given the opportunity, has shown consistency. And I think that it's so important also the fact that he is arguably, and I know, Tommy, you've said this, a couple other folks on the Superstation have said it, you can make the argument he is one of, if not the best blocker on this football team right now. Offensive linemen, tight ends, everyone included. And so that's where I think the fact that he can line up in line, he can flex out wide, I just think he's a very exciting chess piece moving forward that I hope his skill set is taken advantage of. And look, I mean, not that Parker Washington out of the slot can't also do a little bit of damage. We alluded to the lack of depth on the defensive side of the ball for the Raiders, let alone the secondary. And so I would love to see the Jags really try to air the ball out. But I also think it's important to establish the run for all the other reasons that we outlined, that this is a Raiders team that depth has been tested. And so I would love to see a world in which Brian Thomas Jr., Parker Washington, and Brenton Strange each have 7 targets, 5 catches. Obviously, that number will be a little bit higher for number 7, but I want to see a world in which the ball is distributed to all 3, and we don't have a scenario like we have a couple of times in the last 5-6 weeks where one of the 3 is just completely forgotten about and the ball does not go in his direction, let alone does he even see the football field.
Yeah, not forget about that running game either, right? They give up, 4.5 yards a carry. You should be able to run a little bit on this team with Tank and Travis Etienne.
Even with
that should help it out. Yep.
Tommy, that's even with the future Pro Bowler Kayvon Chase along the defensive front, because I don't
watch
think
out for him today.
Yeah, I don't think run defense is necessarily his forte. I will guarantee, and I don't even want to guarantee it because I think the Jaguars' offensive line has played better of late, especially at the tackle position. I know it was a rough first half last week against the Jets with 2 penalties for Anton Harrison, but Walker Little has played some of the best football of his career. So I don't want to predict a Kayvon Chase on sack. So I'll just say that because of some sort of misalignment, and not even misassignment by the offensive line, but something that Antonio Pearson company team up, Kayvon Chase will have 1 sack against his former team today.
Jeez.
Yeah. Mia, the one thing that stood out when the Raiders played Monday night in the loss to Atlanta is, boy, they've got special teams issues. They had a couple punts blocked. They had a kick blocked. Is that something that you think Heath Farwell and his group can take advantage of today?
I sure hope so, and I also hope they take advantage of, their own specialists and their own special teams that, while despite the Jaguars' struggles over the last 3 months or so, this continues to be one of the better units in the National Football League in that phase of the football game. You have Logan Cook, who right now, shout out to Logan, is 6th in Pro Bowl voting. Ross Matisic made an All-Pro team last year. Not really sure why he's not popping up on those lists this year, because he's played just as well as he did a season ago. Maybe not as many tackles and coverage. And it's really unfortunate, boys, that Cam Little has not had nearly the amount of opportunities as we thought he would as a rookie, because I do think of the 3 rookie kickers that were drafted this past season, he's been the most consistent. The problem is he hasn't had nearly enough opportunities. So, yes, I think that while I know some of our contemporaries here in the desert are predicting, and I'm speaking of our friend Vic Pafer with The Athletic, who came on Helmets and Heels and is predicting a 20-20 score for today's game, I wouldn't be surprised if it becomes a field goal kicking contest, which if it gets to that, advantage Jaguars all day and every day.
Yeah, what kind of game do you think we'll see today, and who do you think wins it?
I have been very much in favor of scoregami. I've been rooting for that over the last 5-6 weeks. Some sort of unique score that only a team that goes for 2 every other week, and that weird things continue to happen too. And I'm, of course, alluding to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I would love to see something weird, like in the ballpark of like 17-16 or 18-17. I don't know, something kooky like that. I do think that this will be a tightly contested game when all is said and done, and I think we'll look back and we'll laugh about it because we'll be like, oh my goodness, the game of the window that was so tight was between the Jaguars and the Raiders, even if it looked awful. I picked the Jaguars to cover a 1.5 point spread, not sure where it's at my book, but it'll be something. How about that? It will be something here in Las Vegas this afternoon.
Sounds great. Well, Mia, thank you so much for your time. We certainly enjoyed talking with you, and we'll look forward to all of your outstanding coverage today on all of our 1010XL social channels.
Appreciate you guys. See you guys soon.
All right. That's Mia O'Brien, does an outstanding job, obviously, on Helmets and Heels and also with everything digital here with 1010XL. So some great thoughts there, Tommy. When we come back, we're going to hear Mia's interview from earlier this week in the locker room with tight end Brenton Strange. So stay tuned. You're listening to the Terminix Kickoff Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey. Here in North Florida, you know that when temperatures go up and your AC goes out, you need help now. Like right now. Like lickety-split. So why not call Lickety Split and get same-day emergency service for your AC? Now, I bet you've seen their trucks all over town because they've got dozens of certified technicians ready to repair not only your AC, but your home's plumbing and electrical too. So when you want it done right and you need it done right now, call Lickety Split AC Plumbing and Electric.
The 3D Digital has you covered for any of your business's digital marketing needs. From producing award-winning videos to getting those digital ads to follow your customers around the internet, our team has your back. Visit 3ddigital.com or give us a call at 904-712-4004 to schedule a free consultation today. 904-712-4004.
I'm Clayton Bromberg, the president of Underwoods. If you've ever wondered why some jewelry stores and department stores always have a sale going at 50 to 75% off, there's a good reason. Because most of the time, they're not real sales. The prices are marked up so they can sell the piece at a big discount and still make the profit they need. If you wanted to find a realistic sales event, the store wouldn't run a year-round sale and the discounts would be a little more realistic. For example, Underwoods puts all of our diamond solitaire necklaces and ear studs on sale in December at 15% below the prices we sell at the rest of the year. So there's a genuine savings to the customer. We also take trade-ins, so it's the ideal time to buy for someone looking to grow their pendant or ear studs up to a larger size. Now at Underwoods, we don't run a lot of sales, but when we do, they're real and a good time to buy. So come see us at Underwoods, San Marco, Avondale, or the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting! When they were little, the other girls played with dolls.
Aww.
They played with footballs.
Who's them? Yes, it's us.
Helmets and heels.
From the First Coast Lighting Studios at 1010XL.
Weekdays noon to 2.
Some girls have all the fun.
Cannonball! Honey, someone's in our pool.
Oh, refreshing.
John, what are you doing?
Oh, hey, Dave. Seeing as how me and the guys at Clearwater Irrigation reinstalled your sprinklers after the pool contractor ripped it out, I thought you wouldn't mind if I took a quick dip.
But in a Jaguar print Speedo?
Yeah, Dave. My bad.
Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage, too.
There's no way to prepare for the impact an accident makes on your life. That's why we've spent 40 years getting ready for that moment when you need compassion and immediate action. The right doctors, investigators, our team of experienced attorneys, and your free consultation is already in place. So if you've been hurt, remember, the Farah Safety Net is right here to catch you. All you have to do is call Farah & Farah. It's what we built. Jacksonville.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. Dandy subs and sandwiches. Look, we always want you to think about those great options as you're driving around Duval. But the beauty is, even as I'm dropping pounds, Dandy's got great options for me as well. Told you all about their protein packs, delicious salads that they have out there. They have fruit cups for on the go. You know what they have. Veggie snack trays. You can grab those on the go as well. Perfect, healthy snack. Dandy is the name to know when you're on the go. So stop into a Gate store anywhere around Duval and make yours a dandy. And do it today.
Welcome to Rockville. North America's largest rock festival returns to the Daytona International Speedway in 2025 with Green Day, Korn, Shinedown, and Linkin Park. Plus Bad Omens, Incubus, Good Charlotte, Rob Zombie, Alice in Chains, Pierce the Veil, Marilyn Manson, 3 Days Grace, Sublime, Hailstorm, I Prevail, Three Doors Down, Jimmy Eat World, Motionless in White, Bush, Chevelle, Mudvayne, and so many more. Welcome to Rockville takes over the Daytona International Speedway May 15th to the 18th, 2025. 5 stages, 4 days, and over 150 bands. 4-day, single-day camping and VIP passes on sale now at welcometoRockville.com.
This is the flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM and FM. Jacksonville Beach. 1010XL. Home sweet home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. 1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Getting game day underway.
It's the Terminix Kickoff Show.
Presented by Clearwater Irrigation and Gatorade Fast Twitch on 1010XL.
All right, welcome back. Tom McManus is here. Dylan Denmark is here. I am Hayes Carlyon. We are getting ready for Jaguars at Raiders. We've talked a lot about Brian Thomas Jr. and we'll continue to do so. But another young player that certainly caught our eye is tight end Brenton Strange. 34 catches this season for 329 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Tommy coming off an incredible game this past Sunday in the loss to the Jets. Mia O'Brien had a chance to catch up with Brenton earlier this week, and here is that interview.
Pleased to be joined with Jaguars tight end Brenton Strange. Brenton coming off of a career-high performance last week. Walk me through last week's game and how you were able to really take it over UNBT.
I think the opportunities just came our way, and we made the most of it. I mean, BT's been doing it for a while this year. Obviously, he broke the franchise record for a rookie, so he's been doing it. But I think that the opportunity came our way, and I just made the most of it. So hopefully that continues to happen, and I continue to do that.
What's been the message? Obviously, I know Evan missed some time earlier in the season before the surgery that he had earlier this week. What's been the message from him, from the coaching staff for you during this final 3-4 game stretch?
From Evan, I think he just tells me just be myself. I don't got to do too much. I don't got to do any more than I always do. It's just going out there and just being myself and being the player that I know I can be. So I've always told myself that. It's funny that he says it the same way, just be you. But it's the truth. I'm here for a reason. Like, I know what I'm capable of, and I'm happy that I'm able to display that.
I feel like I asked you this in October after the Packers game, but I'll ask it again after another career day. You a year ago, you today. Where have you grown the most?
That's a really hard question because I've grown a lot in this past year just being with this organization. I've grown a lot physically, but I would just say mostly mentally. Last year was tough for sure. It was real tough, but I'm thankful for it all. You know, you got to have downtime to get to where you want to be, and I'm not where I want to be yet, but I'm still striving for that, and I'm still trying to become a better player. So I'm thankful for everything, the ups and the downs.
What type of tight end would you classify yourself as?
I would say I'm an all-around tight end. You know, I pride myself on being able to provide whatever for the team and whatever they ask me to do. So that's what I've always prided myself on, coming out, being at Penn State. So whatever the coaches ask me to do, I'm willing to do, and to do it and put my best foot forward.
Don't worry, we will be circling back to the Nittany Lions. I will let you give us a primer, give us your thoughts on that matchup coming up this weekend in the college football playoff. Let's look at your matchup this Sunday. The Raiders defensively, what do they present?
I think that they present a lot of different looks. You know, they're very multiple. They do a lot of different stuff. They blitz a lot, cover zero. So we got to be ready for whatever. And I think that we've done a good job so far preparing. It's just finishing the week out strong and continuing to stay in our books and just never stop learning.
When I say Brock Bowers, you say?
Beast. Those are a crazy talent. Obviously, he's one of the best college tight ends of all time, and now what he's doing in the NFL in his first year. Just talking about my first year, I know how it was for me, so I know how it is. So that's very impressive, and I love watching him on film. He does a lot of great things.
Excited to go to Vegas? I know you guys won't get to do a whole heck of a lot, but have you been to Las Vegas before?
I've never been to Vegas before, but I'm excited to play in the new stadium. Hopefully, maybe we drive by that Spirit that they got out there. I've always seen stuff on Reels or whatever, so hopefully we get to do something, you know.
Love it. And, of course, those Nittany Lions in action this weekend. Give us the preview.
I don't know too much about SMU, but
you do know about it being cold in Happy Valley.
I do know that they are a Texas team, correct? Texas team. Yep. It's very cold in Happy Valley this time of the year, and it will be very loud. So hopefully they are ready for a hostile environment, and hopefully my Nittany Lions win.
Awesome. Brenton, thanks so much.
Appreciate you.
Brenton Strange obviously coming off an outstanding game against the Jets. How active do you expect him to be today against the Raiders?
Same. I would think. I think they'd have the same kind of idea. You know, get the ball to number 7. get the ball to 85, pound the rock as best as you can, keep him off balance, keep Mac clean. Mac, been getting the ball out quick. He's been pretty accurate overall. A few things he's off on, of course. Take your deep shots on occasion. But, yeah, Strange to me. I mean, Strange, I thought going in this year they'd use him a lot more. I did, because I even thought, like, he kind of reminded me of, like, a Juszczyk, but out in San Fran, but even better, like even bigger and more powerful and quick. He's shown that he can do it all. And listen, I love Evan Ingram. He's been great. But you look at Brenton Strange, you're like, you know what? I think you could maybe replace Evan Ingram and let Evan go wherever he needs to go, if at all, or keep them both.
Right.
But get Brenton involved. The thing, again, that bothers me, like all year long, the kid made plays, and you never went back to him. Like, I don't understand that thinking. And any coordinator, any play caller, guy makes a big play for you. I don't know. Give him the ball again. Isn't that like when you make a shot in hoops?
Yeah.
Don't they say, all right, feed him?
Right.
Feed him? You know what I mean? It's just mind-boggling that it took Evan Ingram out of the lineup to now showcase 85. Now, I'm not saying giving him 8 catches a game when Evan's in there, but to only go to him once a game, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
3 to 4. You let him give you a couple big plays. Who knows what the kid can do? I think he's a potential superstar to making.
Interesting, and obviously there's a good chance going to be a new coach here next year, so a new offensive system.
Yep.
And hopefully they will incorporate, because I would think Evan Ingram is part of the plan. It's not 100%, but I would think Evan Ingram is probably going to be part of the plan next year. So, but what is the difficulty that presents if the Jaguars are putting Evan Ingram and Brenton Strange out there, who both are capable receivers?
Yep.
How do you match that from your defensive personnel standpoint?
That's a great question. First of all, they both block pretty decent, but although Strange is a little bit more aggressive, I think. That's a good question, man. How do you line up on him? Do I take my nickel back and put him on one? Is my will linebacker fast enough to hang with him and be athletic enough? That'd be a good situation to figure out, I think with Evan this year, even, like, he needs more opportunities down the field, just like Frank was saying with Strange. Like, these dink and dunks are great. Give him the ball in the open space. It's great. But how about down the seam like every other NFL offense does? I don't know. Yeah. Don't they go to the tight end?
Yes.
Down the seam? We don't for some reason. I have no idea why, but get them more involved in that kind of regard. And I think you could have a nice 1-2 punch.
Let's talk about some of the other young players that maybe as we move forward, not just today, but as we start to peek ahead to 2025, who are some other guys that you think it might be time to supplant the veteran, and maybe a situation or two where you think, nah, I would keep the veteran over the younger guy right now?
I want to see Prince perform today, so maybe, on that other corner slot.
Yeah.
Jarian Jones, maybe put him in nickel or what have you. What
about linebacker? What would you do there?
Honestly, I would take Lloyd off the field and see if he can do anything rushing the passer. And my Mike linebacker would be a Lewican, and my will would be Miller in nickel. And in dime, I would have Miller over a Lewican as my Mike linebacker because he can cover better.
Yeah. What do you think Devin Lloyd is in terms of coverage? Is it would we have, if he could do it, would we have seen it yet? Or could there still be some upside there where he's learning? Or is it just, in your opinion, Devin Lloyd in coverage, where do you stand with that?
I don't know. I mean, look, everyone gave him great, like the long touchdown bomb to Adams. He actually did his job. It's cover 2. You got to run with the vertical if you're the Mike linebacker, especially inside. The safety bit and didn't help him over the top. The job of the Mike linebacker, when he carries that, you want him right on his hip, but at the minimum, just make the ball go over your hands. So it's not a line drive, easy throw to the tight end down the seam. Just get in the way. And by the way, that safety's supposed to be coming over, especially when no one else is vertical.
Right.
Hello? Come over and make a play on the ball and help your backer out. I don't think, look, he's not great one-on-one in space. It's really hard. That wasn't my game either. I like him against the run, though, because I think he can be effective in the run, but he's too much of a liability in coverage. So he's either confused, and maybe it is. I don't know. Like we said, like we were talking off air about Frank calling his zone. I'm like, man, I swear it was man, but maybe it was man on one side and zone on the other, and it screws people up. I get it. I would be a little confused, trying to figure that out too. But I would much rather see Devin Lloyd on passing downs, Hayes, do what he did in college.
Yeah.
What did he do in college?
And lived in the backfield.
He rushed the passer.
Yeah.
Inside, outside, over the guard, over the center, outside the tackle. That's what they did. So why are you changing that?
Right.
Let him do what he's been born to do, and I think he could be somewhat effective.
Yeah, it's great insight. He had over 40 tackles for a loss in college, so an explosive player in the backfield, but not so much that we've seen in coverage at the NFL level. When we come back on the Terminix Kickoff show, we're going to get it to the Farah and Farah injury report. We will also do our keys to the game presented by Instant Keys. You are listening to 1010XL 92.5 FM.
What's the deal with the show? The 1010XL Podcast Network is now available just about everywhere you find podcasts.
I mean, I think the show's going to be a huge hit.
Search for your favorite 1010XL podcast in your platform of choice.
Imagine a place where the sun is always shining, the drinks are ice cold, and the food is bursting with flavor. Welcome to Hurricane Grill and Wings, where locals and visitors alike gather to weather this storm we call life. And you can escape here anytime you like. Today's forecast, hot, crispy wings with a 100% chance of frothy beers. Later, we're predicting big burgers and seafood tacos moving in. Escape the ordinary. HurricaneWings.com.
Navy Mutual was created by service members for service members, so we know what it means to serve. Our policies have no active duty service restrictions, so you can rest assured that you're covered no matter your duty station, home or abroad. To go even further, we promise that premiums will not be higher for those who serve in dangerous environments, including aviation, diving, or on deployments. Let us help you protect those you love the most. Learn more at NavyMutual.org.
For 79 years, each Gator Bowl game wrote a chapter in a story filled with excitement, celebrity, and a touch of drama. The game has seen iconic coaches like Bear Bryant, Vince Dooley, and of course, Bobby Bowden. Football stars like Larry Zonka, Archie and Peyton Manning, and Michael Vick. The 80th chapter features Duke and number 14 Ole Miss. Thursday, January 2nd in primetime on Bill Gay Grounds at Everbank Stadium. Tickets on sale now at TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com.
Jags Hall of Famer Tony Baselli puts on his gold jacket every Monday morning at 7:20 on The Drill.
Does look good.
It's Hall of Fame Monday with Tony Baselli.
Good? It's great.
Brought to you by Heritage Roofing of North Florida on 1010XL.
Welcome to Rockville. North America's largest rock festival returns to the Daytona International Speedway in 2025 with Green Day, Korn, Shinedown, and Linkin Park. Plus Bad Omens, Incubus, Good Charlotte, Rob Zombie, Alice in Chains, Pierce the Veil, Marilyn Manson, 3 Days Grace, Sublime, Hailstorm, I Prevail, Three Doors Down, Jimmy Eat World, Motionless in White, Bush, Chevelle, Mudvayne, and so many more. Welcome to Rockville takes over the Daytona International Speedway May 15th to the 18th, 2025. 5 stages, 4 days, and over 150 bands. 4-day, single-day camping and VIP passes on sale now at welcometoRockville.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. The personal injury attorneys of Farah and Farah present this injury update. Farah and Farah.
Jacksonville.
Exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
All right, welcome back. Tom McManus is here along with Dylan Denmark. I am Hayes Carlin. Let's get it to our injury report. Tom, it's pretty clean. Ezra Cleveland was battling a knee, limited in practice Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, but he does not carry a game status, so he is all systems go. The Jaguars, in fact, do not have anybody that carries a game status. Walker Little was bothered by an ankle, limited in practice all week, but will play. Brandon Sheriff, who's been battling what with Sheriff, they should tell you what actually is healthy on him. Because, what a warrior.
He is a tough dude, man. I love him. He's a grizzled vet.
Yes, he has played through. It almost feels like his entire Jaguar career here, he has been playing through injuries. It's just been very unfortunate for Brandon Sheriff. But he officially is dealing with the knee and shoulder, limited all week, but will play. And then Brenton Strange, the talented young tight end that we've talked a lot about today. dealing with a shoulder, limited all week, but will play. On the Raiders side of things, they have really no one of consequence on the injury report. Jordan Meredith, a guard ankle, is doubtful. But the big one really for the Raiders, it's not going to show up on the injury report. But Max Crosby is such an outstanding pass rusher in this league. What a loss. I mean, what are your impressions of watching him play?
Oh, phenomenal player. Motor's always running, built perfect for a defensive end, knows leverage. You look at him. Now, granted, he's tall and he's very athletic, but it's not like you're like, wow, you might think he's a basketball player rather than a football player. But he's so athletic, and that length in his arms, man, and his height, he gets around. He's good against the run. His hair's on fire. You can see the passion and the way he plays. So I'd love 11 Max Crosby's on my defense with that kind of attitude because he plays the game the right way.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what his future is there because, again, Vegas looks like they're a couple years away at least, and that's if they hit on either Sanders or Ward in the draft. Yeah. So
what I was thinking about, and I just thought about this. We played Oakland in '96. Okay, and our warning was keep your helmets on, even on the sideline, because they'll throw things at you like batteries, beer cans, all types of stuff. I got to imagine in the brand new stadium they're not doing that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I will ask also, like, I remember coming out, like I'd never been in the black hole before. And you're like, because I loved the Raiders growing up. Who didn't? The silver and black. You kidding me? And you come out of the locker room, onto the field, onto the grass field, and you're just like, whoa, this is different. And then their one end zone, they got all these kooky painted with the all the stuff and black. Anyway, and then they kick off Hell's Bells from AC/DC. Like the hair's going. Like I'm like, this place is unbelievable. But I highly doubt it's going to be like that today in the brand new stadium. But it's sad because the Raiders. They're one of the greatest franchises of all time, and that they're in this kind of position. Can they get out of it's the question. I don't know, man. They seem like they're a long way away.
And that's the thing with a player like Max Crosby. Will he still be good by the time you're good? And so that's something the Raiders will certainly have to to ask themselves as they move forward into this offseason. Yeah. Let's get it to now. Let's break this thing down a little further, and let's do that with our keys to the game.
Now, the keys to the game. Brought to you by Instant Keys, fast, professional, honest locksmith service.
Tom, really the biggest one for the Jaguars is, particularly on the defensive side, how do they stop Brock Bowers? We haven't really dived into him yet, the rookie tight end, but he's having an extraordinary year. What stands out to you about Bowers, and how do you think Ryan Nielsen should go about trying to hem him in today?
I think you got to double him as much as you can, but you got to be careful. He's on the same side as Jacoby Myers because Myers can really run too, So I think the key, though, Hayes, you got to shut their run down. They average 3.6 yards a carry. They're not very good running the football, and I know we haven't been great stopping the run. It's kind of been up and down all year long. We give up about, I think, 4.4 yards a carry, so don't let this team pound the ball. If they start running the ball, Bowers will have an even bigger day, and you can't let that happen. I mean, come on. You look at, like, last week against the Jets, you could make a real good argument that the Jets roster better than the Jags roster, couldn't you?
Yes.
You can't make that argument this week.
No.
You're the other side. You're the one with the better roster, and you should be taking care of the Raiders today.
And I think that's a huge key because the Jaguars just frankly have not been able to do that. When you look at Jacksonville, their numbers in terms of what opposing quarterbacks do to them this season, opposing quarterback 68.6% completion.
Yeah.
27 touchdown passes to 5 picks, a 108.3 rating.
Yeah. By the way, that's at an 8.3 yards per attempt clip, that percentage.
It's unbelievable.
That's disgusting.
That's with the Will Levis game a couple weeks ago.
Absolutely.
That's how bad it's been.
Been very bad.
And I think O'Connell is certainly, he's no one's answer, but I think he's a smart player. Yeah. And I think so I am concerned that will the Jaguars hold up coverage-wise? Because I think O'Connell is at least intelligent enough to take advantage of it.
Well, get in his face then, because that's the only way. And that's what's been struggling. I mean, like, the outside's coming with Josh Hines-Allen and with Trayvon, but there's no interior unless you see 91 line up a tackle. You're not worried about any of the other guys. So if you give him that time, he will make throws. Look, most, if not all, quarterbacks in the NFL, backups included, you give them time, your guy's open, they're going to make the throw. It's just they're good enough to make those throws. When they're under duress is when they struggle. Because then that you can confuse them, that you can get them looking at the line, get them seeing ghosts, that type of thing. But if you don't do that, Aidan O'Connell's very capable of ripping this defense a new one, without a doubt, and throw it all over the field. Bowers, Myers, whoever, guys out of the backfield, they'll make it happen if you don't get after him today.
We don't talk a ton about special teams, but and we mentioned it with Mia earlier.
Yep.
Boy, the Raiders, I mean, they were a disaster on Monday night. To their credit, because I still think they're playing hard. They only lost by 6.
Right.
And obviously Kirk Cousins is having his issues in Atlanta, got benched and things like that. But how often in an NFL game do you see 2 punts get blocked and a kick get blocked?
Yeah.
So
terrible.
I mean, if you're the Jaguars, if you're, these core players on special teams, you got to be salivating watching that film, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing too: if they get it off, that means look, they got to block a little bit longer. Which look, Duvernay or Parker, they've had some good returns this year.
Sure.
Like get them one-on-one, get them to make that first guy miss and get up the field. So I would go after them quite a bit today. And what do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? You don't have anything to lose. Just go after it, and let's see if you can block some kicks today.
And you obviously mentioned this earlier, and it's a great point. Turnovers are always going to be a big key in this. Neither team has been great, but the Raiders are last. They're minus 19 in the league. They've only taken the ball away 9 times. They've given it away 28 times. The Jaguars aren't much better. Right. They're tied for 29th, but at least at least they're better than the Raiders. What's your expectations for who you think Mac Jones versus Aidan O'Connell and everything else involved that we've talked about? Yeah. Who do you think wins the turnover battle?
Oh, my gosh. I'm going to say we win it. I don't know why I'm even saying that, to be honest with you. Just because they're 19 and we're minus 13, I guess. But I don't – look, I mean, Tank fumbled last week. We recovered it, so you got to be careful there. I would think, look, Mac Jones should have a day today. He should have a good day today. So should the running game. I'm not saying they're going to go up and down the field and score on every possession, but they should have a pretty good day today. I think Brian Thomas Jr. will have a fun day today. It'll be exciting to watch him, and I hope Strange has a good day. And by the way, don't go away from Parker either. That's another guy. Like, he'll have a couple good plays, and then you don't see him. It makes no sense to me. So hopefully they can spread it around. But if I got to pick between the 2 QBs who's going to have a better day, it's got to be Mac Jones all day long.
Yeah, and how would you like to see the carries divvied up today between Bigsby and ETN?
I want Tank to be my horse, and I want my ETN to be the change of pace back. So I would say 65 Tank, 35 Travis, but get Travis in that passing game, man. And nobody wants to hear this, but Urban Meyer may have been onto something with Travis Etienne starting out as a wide receiver, because he can run the routes. Now, I'm not saying he's a wide receiver, but let's see him up on that line of scrimmage and make that safety or linebacker have to cover him one-on-one.
Well, and again, I think that speaks to a larger point of where has the creativity been with this offensive system. I mean, it just doesn't feel like that Doug Pederson and Press Taylor fool anybody. It doesn't seem like we see things and we're like, wow, that's a really unique way to utilize a player's skill set. It's been frustrating because we know that's been Doug's, his greatest knowledge as an NFL head coach has been his offensive mind, but it's really been disappointing that we haven't seen more of that.
No, I mean, look, when they were doing okay in the passing game, there was like 3 or 4 plays that were working. It was the deep post down the middle when you could set it up. It was that run the safety off, have the crosser come over, or start him off on the same side and have him go inside and then come back out. He should be open. Sometimes the receiver ran the safety off. Sometimes they didn't, and ended up being an interception or not a good play. But when the safety was run off, that crosser was open. But you can't keep going back to the well time and time again, throwing a couple, bubble screens or quick screens. I think you got their passing offense down pat for the most part. So I agree with you. And why not more rubs? Why not more? And by the way, I don't know how to run. Brian Thomas Jr., God bless you, man. But just make it look like you're running.
Right.
Like, don't make it look like you're blocking. That's all you have to do. And by the way, if you take off down the field, that guy's running with you because he's going to be scared to death that you're going to catch a bomb over his head. So you got to make sure that you do that at the right time. I know that was a timing issue too. But yeah, man, I mean, I don't know. They haven't been creative at all, in my opinion. But I will say this. The crossing routes are when you can really do some damage. It's hard to keep up with that crosser, even if you're fast. You know what I mean? Because you're not going to be right on his hip from the get-go. You do have to catch up. Maybe you have makeup speed. If the ball's thrown out in front, it's really hard to defend. If it's thrown in the back, you have a chance to knock it down. But I'd like to see more of those type plays, too.
If you're Las Vegas, their offensive coaching staff, how are you trying to keep those Jaguar safeties from guessing wrong with Myers and Bowers?
Well, first of all, what I'm going to do, like every offense does against, I'm going to line up and say, let's go punch them in the mouth and see if they can stop us. Because our defense doesn't really respond that great in that sense. They have on occasion, but not consistent enough. How many first drives have we given up that are 10, 11, even 17 play drives to start the game? Not getting off the field on third down, not stopping the run. But if I'm the Raiders, I'm smashing it down your face, and let's see if you can stop me, and then I'll play action you to death. And Bowers will be open, and so will my other targets, because we'll all jump on the run fake because you're going to be worried. I don't think they're very good up front. You know, as far as that JPP guy, he is playing guard. At least that's how they have lined up on the depth chart. I don't think they're very physical. I don't think they're pushing people out of the way. However, if our defensive tackle tandem is Lacey, Ledbetter, and Hamilton, they're going to push us around a little bit because that's been happening all year long.
Is that the biggest in terms of the offseason for a second? Is that the biggest? If you could have one major addition this offseason, would it be a big-time defensive tackle?
I want a Jeffrey Simmons type as my 3 technique. That's what I want. And, you know, it's funny. Ever since Doug got here, he's never put a big value on having a big stud defense. Like when we were 3-4 nose, he never went out and got a 3-4 defense. He never went out and got a 3-4 nose. He tried to make Hamilton play it. Well, when you stand up, you can't play it. Mason Smith, now we're in a 4-3 now, his biggest problem, he stands too high. He's big and powerful. We got to get him lower and get some leverage. Now, if he's getting tired and you stand up when you get tired, I understand. They get somebody else in there. But those guys, yeah, man, we need that beef in the middle. It makes the linebacker. Let me ask you this. How many times this year have you seen watching the game our defensive front in the middle, defensive tackles, being pushed 5 yards back into the linebackers' laps? Linebackers cannot be effective when the D-line's getting shoved in their face.
Yeah.
They can't be effective. They'll never be able to beat those blocks whatsoever. Now, if your D-line can be stout and not let those linemen off and have that running back nowhere to go, your backers will make plays all day long, and they'll be near the line of scrimmage. But if they don't get that kind of presence up front, it's never going to happen.
I think the other another key today is Mac Jones in terms of the numbers haven't been very good. I think he's 4 touchdowns, 7 picks in relieving Trevor. But he certainly should be in a little bit more of a zone. And look, they scored 25 points against the Jets last week, so maybe they're seeing some signs of life. What's your evaluation of Mac Jones? And then kind of moving forward again, he's a free agent. No one is offering him a starting contract. No. We know that. No. But would you like him back here as a backup, or would you like to see the organization maybe move on? Because he is a player that probably, because of his experience, would command that $6 to $8 million range contract. Would you like to see them move on, cheaper option, or do you like him as Trevor's backup next year?
I like him fine as a QB and as a backup. Look, I think he's gotten better. When he first started out, they were making the same mistakes they made with Trevor, and he was too. Playing that hero ball on first down. Like, don't throw that ball. He's not open. Mm-hmm. Like, don't waste that down. Live to learn another, live another day. Live another down. But, the receiver's running the wrong routes. Receiver dropping balls. But it's gotten better. You have to I think the last 2 weeks, last 2 outings, Mac Jones has gotten better each time he's gotten out there. So I'd expect him to have a pretty good day today. Like I said, let's pound the rock on these guys and then play it. They're going to do the same to us. We should do it the same to them. If you want to start with the pass and loosening them up, like getting Brian Thomas Jr. involved, fantastic. That loosens the safety. Then you bang him with the run. I think that's a very effective way to take on the Raiders defense too.
Absolutely. Great stuff. We've got one more segment to go on the Terminix Kickoff Show. We are going to give you our final thoughts and our predictions for whether the Jaguars will get that win that maybe some of you want them to get and maybe some of you do not want them to get. But that is it. We will be back. You're listening to 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Mia here. When it comes to roofing, whether it be shingles, metal, or most repairs, there is one name that has protected your home since 1999. Pro Jax Roofing. Serving all of North Northeast Florida, Mike and his guys have been repairing and replacing roofs for 25 years. Need insurance help? Mike's team can help. Raised in a military family, Mike provides great attention to detail with unparalleled quality and workmanship. They also have warranties, so you can have peace of mind. Call Mike today for a free estimate or online at projectsroofingfl.com.
Hey, Jacksonville Koozies, it's me, Soccer Sam, for Salvatore's Pizza. Rochester, New York's favorite pizza is now open in Jacksonville, Florida, Tapestry Park at the Loft Hotel Plaza. Daily $10 deals, dine in with beer and wine, and delivery at salvatores.com. The famous Formoso family brings Salvatore's Pizza, Rochester's favorite pizza, including our 32-piece sheet pizza for your next event. Go with me, baby. Salvatores.com.
Welcome to Rockville. North America's largest rock festival returns to the Daytona International Speedway in 2025 with Green Day, Korn, Shinedown, and Linkin Park. Plus Bad Omens, Incubus, Good Charlotte, Rob Zombie, Alice in Chains, Pierce the Veil, Marilyn Manson, 3 Days Grace, Sublime, Hailstorm, I Prevail, Three Doors Down, Jimmy Eat World, Motionless in White, Bush, Chevelle, Mudvayne, and so many more. Welcome to Rockville takes over the Daytona International Speedway May 15th to the 18th, 2025. 5 stages, 4 days, and over 150 bands. 4-day, single-day camping and VIP passes on sale now at welcometorockville.com.
If you're searching for a new fence installation, challenge yourself to find a fence company with more positive online reviews than Superior Fence and Rail. With over 3,000 reviews and a 4.9 out of 5 review range, Superior Fence and Rail is, well, superior. So take the online challenge or let their professional team show you what superior service looks like. Superior Fence and Rail, where quality matters.
SuperiorFenceandRail.com. This is the flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM and FM. Jacksonville Beach. 1010XL. Home sweet home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Follow the Canes as they storm the ACC.
I'm 1010XL's JJ LaSelva, and every week I'll bring you the Miami news and notes you need to know.
The Performance Painting Hurricane Report on 1010XL. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Being an athlete means having a healthy desire to do as much as you can with your body for as long as you can. Gatorade has lower sugar, electrolyte-backed hydration options to keep you rehydrated and replenished. Gatorade, for every athlete.
From Gatorade Zero to Gatorade Endurance Formula and Gator Light, there's something for every athlete. Find it at your local Winn-Dixie. It's a win-win. Gatorade, official partner of the NFL.
For 79 years, each Gator Bowl game wrote a chapter in a story filled with excitement, celebrity, and a touch of drama. The game has seen iconic coaches like Bear Bryant, Vince Dooley, and of course, Bobby Bowden. Football stars like Larry Zonka, Archie and Peyton Manning, and Michael Vick. The 80th chapter features Duke and number 14 Ole Miss. Thursday, January 2nd in primetime on Bill Gay Grounds at Everbank Stadium. Tickets on sale now at TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com.
Hey, John, are you a small business owner looking to make the most of your investments?
Absolutely. And now is the time to take advantage of some incredible tax deductions.
You can qualify for a 2024 tax deduction for up to 60% of the purchase price of a brand new Cadillac.
Think Escalade, Lyric, Optic, XT5, and XT6.
We have over 100 in stock at Rainy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville. It's the perfect time to upgrade your business fleet.
This is not tax advice. Consult with your tax advisor for further details and to determine eligibility, plus tax tag title $8.99 admin fee and resist all and approved credit.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
The Terminix Kickoff Show.
Presented by Clearwater Irrigation and Gatorade Fast Twitch on 1010XL.
Ooh, this is a good one. Did you ever listen to this before a football game to get fired up? Enter Sandman.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite, though, is Wherever I May Roam.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because that was like, no matter where I go, I'm kicking someone's ass.
Do you guys play Metallica?
We don't.
No.
We did Turn the Page Metallica style for a little bit, but no. I'd love to. But it's definitely challenging.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah.
Are you a Saliva fan? The band Saliva.
I know a couple of their songs.
I had their lead singer, Bobby Amaru, on my Riding Shotgun show. Man,
oh, that's awesome.
Little guy, like so soft spoken. Then you go listen to his album, you're like, whoa, that is so. Makes me want to run through a wall, man. It's good stuff.
Absolutely. Welcome back to the Terminix Kickoff Show. Hayes Carline here with Tommy McManus and Dylan Denmark. Pockets we're already underway here. The Eagles have a 7-0 lead over the Commanders. Saquon Barkley with a touchdown, short touchdown there. The Lions have kicked a field goal. They are up 3-0 on the Bears as we get set for Raiders hosting the Jaguars at 4:35. So we haven't really gotten into this. It's a kickoff show. You want to try and get people fired up for the game.
Yeah.
But you can't ignore it when it's 3-10 versus 2-11. So here we are. So Tommy, where are you with it? I mean, you're a former player. Is it hard to embrace the hey, let's lose the game because the draft pick will be better, or is there something in your mind to no, let's beat the Raiders, let's beat the Titans next week, let's close with a win in Indianapolis and have some positive momentum maybe going into the offseason?
There shouldn't be a single player that isn't trying to win and be at their best today. I mean, we never talked about draft picks. We didn't care where we drafted. We didn't. I was saying on Friday, the only time I really cared, it was 97 or 99, and Andy Katzenmoyer was coming out of Ohio State, middle backer, and he was a big-time prospect.
Absolutely.
And we had like the 27th pick, and Coughlin passed over him. He believed in me and Schwartz and didn't. I was like, okay, because I'm out if he's in. You know what I mean? Like, he's in the first round.
Somebody draft Katzenmoyer.
Right.
Yeah.
And he passed on him. But no, you don't care about that. You're there. Listen, and you better not, because you're there to perform. You're still you're employed. You've got a game. You got a job to do, and you're fighting for your life. I made the comment earlier. Some of these guys aren't going to be on this team. A new staff comes in. They may. You don't know what the turnover looks like. It could be 50%. You just don't know what kind of player they're going to be looking for and who's picking the players and all that other stuff. So you're fighting for your life today. For me, I'd want to play my best game. Mm-hmm. And I'd want to make a ton of tackles and be as effective as I can in the pass game. If they asked me to blitz, I'd hopefully get there, which I barely ever did. But, I'd want to play my best because I know I'm not guaranteed anything, right? Like a lot of these guys that we've already spoken about, you ain't guaranteed anything. You're not a big money. If you're not a big money player under contract where they have to kind of keep you because of that money, you better get your what together and bring your A game today, because everybody in the world is watching, and not just your teammates and not just your team.
As a fan now of the team, obviously, where do you stand? Would you like to see them win today, or
I want them to win? Here's my thing. I want them to win. But if they don't win, I want them to fight till the end, and they have been doing that.
Sure.
I got to give them that credit. So if you lose, I'm not going to be upset. Like when they lost to the Jets, I was more upset about how they lost because they've been doing that all darn year. And if they switch half of them, we'd be in a better position. Maybe not playoff position, but a better position. But I'm always out there to win. I don't care about no draft pick. You don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
Look, no disrespect to anybody. Trevor Lawrence, number 1 pick in the draft. Trayvon Walker, number 1 pick in the draft. We're still 3-11. Brian Thomas Jr., 20th pick, whatever it was.
Yeah.
He's probably top 5. Like, you don't know.
Yeah.
So who knows who you get wherever you pick. And by the way, between now and draft, that front 10's going to change. You know what I mean? You don't know. A kid could go to the combine and not be that impressive. You know what happens there. You get the tape comes on, and wow, the highlights look great. If I'm recruiting somebody, Hayes, I don't want to see the highlights. Yeah. I want to see his worst game first.
Right.
I want to see if he can battle through it. And if he can at the collegiate level, at a high level, then maybe he'll be able to do it at the NFL level. Because you're not just going to come into the NFL being bigger, stronger, and faster and think you're going to win. That's not going to happen. You better have more in the tank than just that.
If the Jaguars do lose today, if they do improve their draft positioning, obviously we've talked about, Mason Graham, the talented defensive tackle out of Michigan, could be in play. But Travis Hunter seems to be the player that's got the fan base the most intrigued. Obviously, a very unique situation because he's excellent at both receiver and corner. Have you seen enough to weigh in on? Do you feel like if you had the chance to take him, would you if you're the Jaguars? And if you did, where would you like to see him play? Would you play him on both sides?
I would.
Yeah.
I would. And he'd be tough to pass up. There's no doubt about that. I'm not a big draft Nick yet. I'm not a, like when my teams, I don't start looking at the draft. Because again, I'm from that perspective of, look, yeah, if you get him, that's great. But we still got to change the culture. We still got to change a lot of things around here. Just because you grab him doesn't mean all of a sudden we're a playoff contender, a Super Bowl contender. Yeah, nice piece to the puzzle, but let's see where it all fits. But yeah, if he's sitting there and we can get him, and I would play him on both sides of the ball, especially if he could really play press and man to man in the National Football League. I mean that helps half the battle. We don't have that right now.
Right.
Tyson Campbell's not that.
Yeah.
He's a fine player. I like him. He's tough, but he's not that kind of cornerback. So if you can upgrade that with a guy like Travis Hunter, then you do it. Now, I was asked also, well, what about the Michigan defensive back? Right. I haven't watched him enough to sit there and be like, yeah, I would. Yeah. But that kid, Hunter, because he can play both ways and he's very exciting, electric, and you see it all over the place, he would be a tough one to pass on.
Yeah, absolutely. As we wrap up here on the Terminix Kickoff Show, let's do a couple final thoughts just about this game. Let's start with Brian Thomas Jr. What are your expectations? What kind of a game do you think we'll see from him today?
10 for 140 and 2 TDs. Let's go. Come on. Am I asking too much? Yeah. And I don't play fantasy, so I don't really care about that. But I want to see that kind of performance. That just shows that, hey, man, you finally again, I don't understand it. How did you not know he wouldn't be your center point at some point early in the season? It took you forever to get there. Whatever. He's there now. Let's see him continue to explode and improve. But, yeah, I expect a big game out of him.
And we talked about it. This Jaguars team has thrown 15 touchdowns this year. Brian Thomas Jr. has 8 of the 15. No one else has more than 2.
Yep.
It is just absolutely remarkable. Let's talk about Bigsby and Etienne. What are your expectations for them today?
I think we get over 100 yards rushing combined today, and I think Bigsby leads the way. I don't know if he'll get over 100, but he should get up in that 80, 90 range, throw in another 50, 60 for Travis, and then let's get Travis involved in that pass game a little bit. I don't know, get him an opportunity to. I think Strange, I think he'll have a touchdown today too. I think they'll really look to him. Look, part of it is play calling, part of it's the chemistry with the quarterback. And who he's used to throwing to in practice all week, right? And now that Mac's running with the starters, he's used to throwing to Brian Thomas Jr. and Brenton Strange and the guys that are now starting, as opposed to when he first started, he was more Gabe Davis, because who did he throw to in practice? Gabe Davis, because that's how it would wind up in the reps during the week. So, I think, look, I got him winning 21-19.
Okay.
All right, close game. But I think that's how we get our scores. 2 to Brian Thomas Jr. No, hey, sorry about the pressure, kid. And then 1 for Brenton Strange. And I think we win this game.
Do you think Brenton Strange will be utilized a little bit more as an explosive element in the passing game today, as opposed to more of just a quick out, get it, just a quick pass and get 5-6 yards here and there?
I think it was against the Jets with the crossing route. Do that again. Mm-hmm. Give him some more opportunities. Get him space. Listen, the kid's deceptively fast, and I think he's fast, deceptively quick, and does he not break tackles almost every chance he gets? He's a load to take down. So I want to see him more with that ball in the open water.
Absolutely. Yep. Let's look at the Jaguar defensive side of things today. Brock Bowers obviously has got to be at the top of their minds entering this game. How do you think the Jaguars will try to cover Brock Bowers? What should they do in your opinion, and how successful do you think they can be?
Well, first of all, I think it's going to be a tough challenge regardless of who's on him, but I'm going to double him as much as possible depending on where he lines up. My nickel will be involved. My backer or 2 of my backers are going to be involved. Get Miller more involved. Don't put Lloyd on him. Do not put Lloyd on him. Don't set it up that way. Don't even call it defense where it could be set up that way, because I think you'll be in big trouble. But to me, it all starts up front, and they give up a ton of sacks. So how about Josh Hines-Allen? Hey, Josh, look, man, you signed this massive deal, and rightfully so. I'm all for it, man. It's awesome. But you got to get going, man. You got 7 sacks. That ain't nowhere near 17.5. And I know we can say this, and this, but guess what? Nobody cares about that, because at the end of the day, you're supposed to be one of the top sack leaders in the entire National Football League, and you're not for whatever reason. How about a 3-sack day today out of Josh Hines-Allen? Too much to ask? I don't think so. Trayvon Walker throwing a couple. Let's get after Aiden O'Connell and make sure that he's very, very uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's great stuff. And again, Aiden O'Connell is not going to run. He is probably the most immobile starting quarterback that will play today in the NFL.
Yep.
How does that help Josh and Trayvon from a target standpoint, knowing this is where this guy is going to be.
Right. Well, they hopefully get some inside help, but if they don't, they're just going to have to set up that tackle, scare him with the speed, come underneath with their secondary move. I'd like to see Ryan Nielsen call those blitzes where the end comes up a little bit, then comes right underneath, right up the gut, right in that quarterback's face. Trayvon does it extremely well. He's called it a few times this year. I want to see more calls of that. I want to see Armstead as a dang tackle, for crying out loud, because every time he imposes some kind of havoc in that backfield. Again, I said off the year he's been good against the run when he's playing end. He holds the point pretty well, but he's way better in the pass getting after the QB at the DT spot. So let's see that happen. If you can do that, a couple moves here and there, a couple speed rushes, you can get to that QB for sure.
You think we'll see the Jaguars make a huge play on special teams coming off the Raiders, having a couple punts blocked and a kick blocked against the Falcons Monday night?
I think they can if, in fact, we try to block and leave our return man with a little bit of one-on-one opportunity if possible. Now, you got to keep those gunners at bay when you do that. Although, if you bring everybody up, they got to come in. You know what I'm saying? So if you only leave one back there, you're coming with 10, or two back there, you're coming with 9. They're not going to be able to just sit outside and run down the field. So they're going to have to come inside and try to help out blocking those guys.
So you like the Jaguars today 21-19.
To 19, yeah.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
I think the Jaguars win the game too. I mean, we talked about it. You made a great point. The Jets were more talented than the Jaguars. It kind of feels like this is the flip of that. I mean, the Jaguars still have Brian Thomas Jr., Brenton Strange, Bigsby, Etienne, Trayvon Walker, Josh Hines-Allen, Tyson Campbell. They've got players. The Raiders really have a rookie tight end in Brock Bowers. Maybe you can make a case for a Jacoby Myers, 802 yards this season, so a solid year. But, boy, they don't really have anything on the defensive side. So I like the Jaguars. A little lower scoring, but I'll say Jaguars win 16-10. Dylan, what do you think?
Jags 20-17. Somehow, some way, they pull away from it.
All right, so we all like the Jaguars today. So put your money on the Raiders. But it's been a lot of fun. Merry Christmas to all of you out there. And Tom, it's a pleasure. Really
always,
enjoyed
Hayes.
it.
I love it, man. It's a lot of fun.
Dylan, great job. We appreciate Frank Frangie joining us. Mia O'Brien as well. She had the great interview as well with Brenton Strange. And Frank had a great interview with Doug Pederson. We always enjoy that. You are listening to 1010XL 92.5 FM. And stay tuned. The Publix Tailgate Show is up next. That is going to do it for us. For Dylan Denmark, Tom McManus, I am Hayes Carlyon. Go Jaguars.
Want to be up close and personal with the Jaguars as they take the field? Here's your chance to be in the shadows, outside the Jaguars locker room, now called The Vault. Enter today at everbank.com/shadows. One winner and a guest for every home game at Everbank Stadium. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry periods for the Shadow Sweepstakes promotion from 8/19/24 to 12/15/24. For official rules and complete details, visit everbank.com/shadows. Sponsored administrator, Everbank N.A. member FDIC.
Injured in an accident that's not your fault? Don't worry. Zach's got your back. I'm Zach Von Rowan at Von Rowan Law, and over the past 20 years, I have fought to recover millions for my clients throughout Jacksonville. If you've been injured in an accident, have mounting medical bills, can't work, don't worry. Zach's got your back. I will fight for the compensation that you deserve and will be there every step of the way. Go to Zach'sGotYourBack.com to set up your free consultation with me today. Zach'sGotYourBack.com.
Welcome to Rockville. North America's largest rock festival returns to the Daytona International Speedway in 2025 with Green Day, Korn, Shinedown, and Linkin Park. Plus Bad Omens, Incubus, Good Charlotte, Rob Zombie, Alice in Chains, Pierce the Veil, Marilyn Manson, 3 Days Grace, Sublime, Hailstorm, I Prevail, Three Doors Down, Jimmy Eat World, Motionless in White, Bush, Chevelle, Mudvayne, and so many more. Welcome to Rockville takes over the Daytona